Fire paramedics, what's the address of the emergency?
It's in Fagan Canyon.
I'm sorry, what's the address?
Fagan Canyon in Santa Paula.
Okay.
There's a brush fire.
Okay, is that an address?
I have the address I have.
We staffed up. We had an extra 10 engines on that night. Huge commitment by law enforcement and all the other partners out there. Final perimeter, 281,000, the biggest. Definitely we lost 1,000 structures. Lost 2 lives as well. That's just not okay in any incident. We evacuated 90,000 people out. I think that's pretty good.
So CAD is our computer-aided dispatch system. And normally it's a system that helps us get a fire engine or a first responder to the scene of an emergency as fast as possible. If there's an emergency call at spot A, regardless of whose jurisdiction that is, it responds the closest fire truck. And in this county, because of the leadership from our fire chiefs, regardless of jurisdiction, you'll get a yellow rig in Oxnard or you'll get a red Oxnard fire truck in Ventura, it doesn't matter. It's the closest resource to the emergency. On this fire, we used it, and I was so grateful to have it, because not only did I know I was getting the closest resource, which ultimately I got every resource because I needed them, I was able to track them in real time. So we have an overlaid map that's on a computer screen, so I have resource accountability to where it's 70-mile-an-hour winds blowing, spot fires happening 1.5 miles out in front of itself, fire expanding so rapidly we couldn't draw and keep up with an accurate perimeter, but I was able to see where each of the resources were on a map, and I was able to take what they were saying, what I was hearing, where they were on the map, and we were able to tell the story that way. You can also see where they were to tell them when they needed to leave places or needed to get into places.
All the units in the county, not just Ventura County Fire, it tracks Oxnard, Ventura, Santa Paula, Fillmore, all the ambulance, AMR, Gold Coast, Lifeline, it tracks all those units, so it will send the closest unit to that emergency no matter what it is. The call taker takes the call, you put it into the CAD system, it gives us the address, the phone number, sometimes the caller's name. The call taker puts in what the problem is, if it's a fire, if it's a medical. We can look at our map, we have a satellite map, we can see if somebody calls and they're like, I'm the 3rd house on the left, I don't know my address, here's my closest cross streets. We can look and get a good idea of what their actual address is so we can send help to the right place.
We just get to take the closest resources. It's the best for the public, it's the best for us. It works really well, and all the agencies work really well together. The more I think about that incident and the more that I talk to people about it, CAD was our saving grace. It really was during this incident.
So all of our partner agencies are linked together. We're all linked together on the same operating system that allows us to communicate with each other. It allows us to see other agencies' equipment, which is fantastic. And it made it where it was very simple to see when your resources were going to be arriving and how you can deploy them effectively based upon timing. That system was pivotal the night of the fire. As 911 calls were coming in, the dispatchers were fielding hundreds of calls for service. The system that we use, our CAD system, enabled our fire communications center to directly relay that information to units in the field, and we were able to look on our moving map and be able to tie that connection of where the service was immediately needed to the units that were closest to the area to render aid. And it was pivotal that night. A lot of our successes were because of our CAD system.